Call this meeting for August 19th. All right, if we can get an adoption agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda for August 19th, 2025 as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, first item of business is our recognitions and proclamations. Anybody on the board have anything for recognitions? Karen?
I went to the high school open house a couple weeks ago, and I just want to, that's the first time I've gone to a major event at the high school since I came on the board, and I was just really excited to, first of all, hear Mr. Mayor's introduction at the beginning and the kind of the overview of the school year and his goals, the teachers' goals and visions for the year. And I was excited to either that day or that week, and it was really good. And personal thank you on behalf of the church and for the church for the Nixta Festival for providing the lunch for the teachers during one of their professional development days. I can tell you that every teacher that came in was just appreciative that that's one less thing that was on their plate for that week, so to speak.
Good. Thanks, Karen. Sandy,
I don't have anything yet.
Susan?
Well, I wasn't able to attend back to school night at the high school because I had to drive to Phoenix to pick up my car, but my husband and children were there, and I've heard a lot of feedback from other parents that were there that this year's theme and just the way it was organized went really well, and they managed for the high school, and the cheerleaders were there, and the football team looked really good, and until the weather rolled in and caused it to be canceled early, but it was put together really well, and it was great to see a lot of turnout from the community, and it was just a great event, so I just wanted to recognize them for that.
My other board members, all of our back to school nights were well attended. There was standing room only. I went to all but festivals, standing room only at Vulture Peak, and I think that's the first time that's happened in a long time. It was crazy. We've had a great start to the school year. We had a few minor glitches as is normal during the school year, but really up and running. This is already the 4th week of school. Students, did you already realize that? 4 weeks already, almost halfway through the first quarter. I do want to thank the families for prioritizing student attendance. We do keep track of attendance during the first few days of school, not only for knowing how many students are attending our schools, but just kind of monitoring it. And all of the principals have reported higher than expected attendance. So thank you to our parents, our families, and our kids for showing up and coming to school, because it really does matter. And then one more thing that came in over the summer, congratulations, our Future Business Leaders of America, is it America?
Yes, it
America
is.
Association. They change those all the time. Our chapter at the high school, when I was in school, it was Association. They all were, but I guess they're now America. They received the prestigious Hollis and Kitty Guy Gold Seal Chapter Award of Merit for the 2nd consecutive year. So that is a really high honor. I think there were only 6 other teams in the entire state that got that national prestigious award. So congratulations to Juan Jimenez and all of the students in FBLA, and ready to go for the year.
Good. Thank you, Doctor. All right, next item of business is the call to the public. Does anybody in the public have anything they'd like to have the board hear other than the agenda item that we're all talking about? Nobody? Okay. All right, so we'll move along to, we have a public hearing tonight, and this is for consideration of the 25-26 301 performance plan for teachers, and this is presented by our Human Resources Coordinator, Ms. Heather Klink. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, President Malio, school board members, and Dr. Amandini. So included in your board packets tonight, you will see the 301 performance pay plan. This salary committee is made up of at least 2 teachers from each of our school sites, and they did meet regularly last year throughout the school year with Ms. Shumway. During those meetings, they reviewed the criteria carefully, they discussed items that the teachers might influence, and then they joined back together and finalized their recommended changes. So in your packet, you'll find the executive summary of changes. The one key change this year is in the staff professional responsibilities criteria. The payout for this 20% portion will be based upon the completed hours as follows. They're presenting 10 hours would equal 100%, and 0 would be 0% for that 20% range. The plan will remain with one payout in June of 2026, and then the eligible pay is $5,000. So to ensure that the staff had input in this, we did conduct an anonymous online survey, and I am pleased to report and share tonight that 97% of our certified staff participated in that survey. So that was great. And 95.2% voted in favor of the proposed plan. So that means we only had 3 votes in all of our certified staff. This outcome does meet our state criteria. Also included in your materials are the updated performance plans for our TOSAs, which includes our teachers on special assignments, instructional coaches, counselors, and any of those who qualify for the performance pay. So overall, the plan aligns with the requirements for the Arizona Department of Education. So at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about the plan.
Anybody have any questions? Karen?
Heather, I have a question concerning the 3 no votes. Was there a common theme for the no votes? Of course, I don't want to know, who they were or anything like that. Just was there a common thing among those 3?
Yes, there was a common theme. The common theme tends to be tied back to the parent survey. So they voted no because they didn't want the 5% piece tied to the parent survey as a part of it.
Okay, thank you.
No, great question.
Ron, do you have anything? Susan, Sandy? Okay. Anybody in the public have anything that they wanted to ask our Human Resources Director, Coordinator? No? Okay. Thank you, Heather, I appreciate it. I'm going to close this public hearing. And Casey, I apologize, I didn't give you the time that we started the public hearing. But as soon as I get to my page, we will close the public hearing at 5:41. Thank you. All right, item of business is our topic number 5, action item, and this is the request for approval of the 301 plan for 2025-2026 performance plan.
I'll make a motion that the governing board of the Wickenburg Unified School District Number 9, having held a public hearing on August 19th, 2025, hereby adopt the 2025-2026 301 performance plan and authorize the 301 performance plan payout as presented.
Second.
That was you, Sandy?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. All right, so now we move along to our consent agenda. Does anybody need anything pulled from the consent agenda before we take action? Here now we can entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items for August 19th, 2025 as submitted.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
You're so good at it.
Opposed? Excuse me?
She's good.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. All right, action items. Item number 7A. So this is request for approval of the financial reports presented by our Director of Business Services, Mr. James Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. You have in your board packet the July 25 Business Office Report. So we'll just walk through that. You might notice that our current fiscal year expenses in July were significantly higher than our June expenses in July in the prior fiscal year, and that's primarily due to the way our insurance carrier, our liability and workers' comp insurance carrier billed us this year. Our premiums didn't go up, but just the way we were billed had adjusted. Other than that, we were pretty much in line with the prior fiscal year. Unique expenditures over $10,000. Active Internet Technologies. This was renewal of our school webpage and hosting services for this school year. That was about $12,442. We paid the additional 50% of our annual audit fees, which is $11,400. New curriculum materials for, I believe it was reading, Hoot Mifflin Company, $35,096. Bloom USA Technology, $19,555 for various technology equipment and supplies. Brady Industries, $19,343. That's for custodial supplies for the entire school year. And then Fulcrum Management Solutions, $10,741. This was for our data survey collection software that we have to pay every year. Compliance issues that we resolved in July of 2025. We did, as you know, we adopted the FY26 budget in July as required. We did submit our advice of encumbrance to the Auditor General. That's an annual report we have to submit that basically says these are bills that we haven't paid yet from the prior fiscal year because we probably hadn't received them. So anything that comes in after June 30th that we anticipate to pay. Our National School Lunch Program was certified. And then also in our National School Lunch Program, all staff completed their mandatory civil rights training. We also completed our annual workers' compensation audit for our insurance carrier, and then our quarterly employer taxes and unemployment insurance were completed. So our funds are in balance, we are in compliance, and we had no surprises.
Thank you, James. Anybody have any questions or comments for James?
I have a question. Were there any changes to our school, the National School Lunch?
No. It's just a compliance thing we have to do every year. We just have to certify that all our students that qualified.
All right. So if we can get a motion to approve those financials.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it. 7B is the request for approval of the Wickenburg Unified School District number 9 carryover plan. I guess you're up again.
Okay, so this is an emerging concept, and actually in all government work is developing a carryover plan. So when we don't utilize all the funds that are allocated to us in a year, what is our intent with those funds? So at Wickenburg, our intent is always to meet our students' needs, facility needs, and so forth during the school year. But sometimes we do have some funding left at the end of the year that we like to carry forward. So this plan will help assure that those funds are carried forward in a transparent and meaningful way. So we're looking to, like, if we know in 1 year, our demographics say in 2 years we're going to have a student shortage, we can start planning for that ahead of time, with always keeping in mind, though, that current year is our highest need, but just kind of having that in the back of mind, like, hey, in 2 years we could hit a block wall. But also if we have excess funding, like what needs do we have that we can address with that funding, because we may not need all that funding the next year. So it's kind of what a carryover plan is. And this addresses our M&O capital and any federal and state grant funding we have.
Good. Anybody, did you want to add anything?
No, I just might add that this is not different than what we've been doing. We're trying to formalize it, as are a lot of school districts around the state, just to make sure that we have it on record, that this is our plan. And again, that it's transparent and it's consistent.
And so we would get like a formal plan for the carryover.
So like
With-
in May of this year, if you
Yeah.
look at the last page, that's what we would complete.
Yeah, that's what I was
yeah,
asking.
yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
I have a question. Does it, piggybacking on her question, so this plan though, does this go anywhere except in our own district?
This is our own.
It's our plan, this is to, when this is filled out, it's to help drive decisions in our district. There's not something at the state level that requires us to be sent to or anything like that.
Right. I think it really helps too, like if there's big projects that someone wants to do, it's like, do we really have the funds to do that? Or are we just saying no or yes because we think we can? So it just really kind of streamlines everything, but it is internal.
I think it helps really drive some decision making, so that's
Right.
that's great. Thank you.
It's really just us documenting what we've already been doing in a
Yeah.
paper.
Okay. So if we can get that motion?
I'll make a motion that the governing board of the Wickenburg Unified School District Number 9 approve the carryover.
Opposed? The motion carries as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, James, again. Now you can rest. Item 7C. This is our first read of our policy advisories, updates. Anybody have anything that they wanted to discuss on any of those policies? Pretty straightforward.
I'm glad to see they're deleting a lot of them.
That's what I was going to
It's
say.
always nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Really, because some of them were just redundant. So, yeah, I like the streamlining.
All right, item 7D. Action item is a request for approval of student eligibility rules concerning students utilizing Arizona State Empowerment Scholarship Account, also known as ESA's funds. So I've got a staff,
Can I?
and we're going to,
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna. You want to speak?
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. As most of you know, I joined the board when our daughter was in first grade and our son was a toddler. And at the time, my husband was a volunteer coach and we both worked full time. So that's been a lot of years ago. I want to start by just sharing a story about my own family. It's a story that many of you know, some of you don't, but it's my why for my position on this topic tonight. Like so many families in our community, my husband and I faced a difficult challenge when the pandemic hit in 2020. I've read it like 4 times and not cried, so I apologize. Art already knows I get very emotional when I'm passionate about something.
No smile.
All right, so our children were students at Hacienda Elementary, and we were suddenly thrust into a new reality of working from home while trying to we're in that position. Our 4th grader Riley is naturally self-motivated and was able to navigate the online tools with little supervision. Terrence was in kindergarten, his learning style. We couldn't ask a 1st grader to learn to read in that kind of environment. So we made the difficult decision to homeschool with the help of Quite Right, the local homeschool tutoring program. Our children not only survived, but they thrived. For us, this was the best path. We've continued this path over the years because really they needed it. If you know us and you've met us before, you know that both of our children tend to be on the gifted side of things, and they needed that extra push that Quite Right gave them. Riley now attends Wickenburg High School and WVA dual enrollment, and we hope Terrence will follow in some fashion. But for now, homeschooling and Quite Right is the best academic choice for his needs. I'm sharing this because our story is not unique. So many families in Wickenburg have their own why. Their reasons for choosing a path outside of the traditional public school system are personal, often born from a unique set of circumstances. These families are, so I want to talk about sports and extracurricular activities for homeschool ESA students. These programs are far more about competition. They build community, they foster teamwork, and they create a strong sense of belonging. They're a vital part of a well-rounded education, and every child in our district should have the opportunity to participate. Beyond that, welcoming these students is also a chance for our local school sports and extracurricular programs to grow and thrive, benefiting all students and the community as a whole. I understand that there are financial questions, but I want to be clear, I'm not asking for special treatment. These students would follow the same rules as everyone else, and their families would need to pay. This includes meeting the same academic and behavioral standards and being required to try out or audition for their place on a team or in an activity. My proposal is that we implement a policy that charges a reasonable participation fee set by the athletic director or activity coordinator to cover the costs of each program. This isn't about taking money from the public school, it's about providing an equitable opportunity. By welcoming these students, we're not just supporting kids, we're strengthening our entire community. Our schools are the heart of Wickenburg, but our community extends far beyond our campuses. We have a unique opportunity to lead, to adapt to our environment, and to set an example for other districts in Arizona. And we have the option to change this if it doesn't work. By opening our doors, though, we can better serve all the children in our community and reinforce the values of unity and opportunity. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move into our list. And we're gonna hear from Robert Delpit. Now, just so you know, individual speakers have 2.5
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay.
I think it's on everybody's sheet anyway. So.
Yes, and this won't take that long. My name's Robert Douthit. I'm reading this letter on behalf of Emily Morris, who is a quite right teacher. Emily Morris is a Wickenburg High School graduate, former public school teacher of 11 years with 18 years teaching experience, and a current tutor for homeschool children in Wickenburg. I, Emily, am a fourth-generation public school teacher and value public education. If 15 years ago you would have told me I'd leave public education to homeschool my children and support homeschool families, I would have been in utter disbelief. Ironically, I'm not a pro-homeschool in all situations person, nor am I an anti-public school person. I am above all pro-child. I would like to give you an understanding of what ESA funds are doing as her children use them. First, neurotypical ESA students in general education receive approximately $3,000 to $7,000 annually to use on educational opportunities. Now, as with any system, there is a potential for fraud and misuse of funds, as the school board knows. Other programs such as Medicare, Access, etc., have fraud and waste to them. Often in the news, when it comes to ESA, you hear of fraud through egregious items purchased, extravagant vacations, visits to the nail salon, dinners out. This seems unlikely to me because just last week I was denied a language arts book for my son due to inadequate documentation. My son is a fourth grader and it was a fourth grade workbook. This happens often for ESA families. Other examples of items recently denied include pencils, the Boxcar Children Reading Series, tutoring from a certified reading specialist. The ESA program has significantly added security over the last 2 years, which leads me to believe that if the only information you have on ESA comes from the news, you may be woefully misinformed. I urge the board to look at this issue of ESA students through a pro-child lens and not through a political lens. Please continue to allow ESA students to participate in extracurriculars and build a bridge for these families to return to our public schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Sean Lowery.
I thank you for the opportunity. I was really moved by Susan sharing a lot about her personal journey here with ESA. So my family all participates in the public school system, but I've seen how ESA money has changed and helped develop a lot of children who are active in the community in sports. I'm recently been, now I'm the regional commissioner for AYSO, so I have a great opportunity to work with a lot of kids. My wife owns Wild Desert Studios. We've seen just countless kids' lives that are being affected by the opportunity to use this ESA money for the positive. I liked what Emily had shared, where she's pro-child. That's what I'm all about. I think that kids need options, and they need options to develop their abilities and to interact with one another. We saw also during COVID where when they were lacking that interaction, the kids suffered and it was tough for them. And so the second we were able to get back into sports, get back into the natural routine, we saw a huge difference in our own kids who are just very social and love to be talking to everybody. And so I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand that, as a father, our family, we feel very strongly that for the development of the kids, that it needs to be available for them to play sports with the rest of the kids that are in the public school system. And I like Ms. Webster's idea about charging a fee, a reasonable fee, to where they can participate in this. And that way, I think everybody is satisfied. And that's what I had to share. Thank you.
Thank you. April Delpit.
Good evening. My name is April Douthit, and I am the mother of 6 children currently attending 3 schools in the Wickenburg Unified School District. I also grew up in Wickenburg and received my own education, kindergarten through 12th grade, in the Wickenburg Public Schools. I share this with you as evidence that I believe in and support public education. My children are all active in sports and have made many friends while playing alongside other kids. Some of these friends attend the same schools as them, but some are being educated outside the more traditional public school system. My children are better for knowing them. My children are better for being exposed to the varying levels of athletic talent they bring, regardless of how they are learning math and reading. My children are better for knowing more people in our community because the world is a lot bigger than just their classroom or their school. My children also do not care about politics or school funding or budgets. While I, as an adult, agree that those topics are incredibly important and have a major impact on our public schools, I am asking you as board members who were elected to support and protect children, to put these high-level adult topics aside and do what's best for our kids. At the end of the day, if you vote to take away ESA children's ability to participate in extracurricular activities at our schools, the ultimate people you are hurting are children. In 2020, a lot of families lost faith in the public school system as a result of decisions school boards made across our country, including here in Wickenburg. Today, you have the opportunity to make a move toward rebuilding these broken relationships and letting them know that the Wickenburg Unified School District might deserve their trust again because they put children first. I want my children to grow up to be kind-hearted, open-minded, and inclusive people, but that starts with adults leading by example. Please be the example. Thank you.
Sarah Hoffman?
Good evening, board members and superintendent. My name is Sarah Hoffman. I'm co-founder of Quite Right also. My question to you today, if you're taking notes from a teacher, which I am for 27 years now, this is not a new thing in the realm of education to have budgeting issues. However, my question to you is, what does the school district gain by blocking students from participating in our public school system? As far as I'm concerned, there's really no benefit. I have seen parents who have a homeschooling situation. I've seen them change their homeschool situation within a year or two. I've seen them decide to a private school scenario. And how are they going to want to come to the public school if they haven't played sports here? I mean, if you're using good coaches and those kids go back to public school, they're going to want to go to where the coach is. They're going to want to go to where the theater is. There's no benefit in keeping them out of that at all. Many school districts in Phoenix and even Salome, many districts in Phoenix, all have policies allowing students who have ESA to come to their various enrichment activities. That is not a new thing. That is, there's a lot of precedents for that if you want to know how. This whole situation seems like it's very derisive and irrational. There doesn't seem to be a rational reason behind it. I have racked my brain. However, educators should not be punishing students for their parents' educational choices. No student should be shunned because their parent decided to homeschool them or to use ESA. That just doesn't make sense. We've never been in the business of that in education in all the districts I've worked in. Quite Right was opened 8 years ago, actually 10 years ago, in a smaller capacity, and then 8 years ago. We did not open during COVID. We did not open because ESA became a thing. We did not open to capitalize on the possibly $7,000 a year that students get. This was in place much before ESA and COVID. So homeschoolers have been homeschooling in the Wickenburg area, hundreds of them, for many, many years. We were open far before any of this political issue came up. The Wickenburg School District has always been pro-student, not anti-student. Quite Right is not anti-public school. Many of us have, all three of us actually, have been public school 20 years. We are fully certified master's level teachers, and we do not condone educators leaving students out just based on what their funding is. I place so much political emphasis into this topic in a small town. Many of our parents were already paying out of pocket for tutoring, and they will continue to do so. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Liam Peterson?
Good evening, dear Wickenburg Unified School District Governing Board. Tonight, you will discuss, speak, and potentially vote on an action item regarding ESA funds and whether those funds and those students who use ESA funds should not be eligible to participate in WUSD activities and athletics. This issue has been a hot topic in our community over the last several months and has drawn the attention of several families and community members. There are various perspectives and views as to whether ESA-funded families should have the same opportunities as those who are homeschooled or enrolled in a Wickenburg Unified School District school. As a parent, a 25-year veteran, actually it's more than 25, of this district, a coach, and also a believer of personal choice, I can honestly empathize and understand where each side is coming from on this issue. So because of this, I decided to educate myself to gain a better understanding on state policies and AIA policies. I found that there is language in multiple policies that makes this issue hard to articulate and draw a clear conclusion about. For example, the contradictory language in Statute 15-2402 states ESA funds can be used to pay for fees for extracurricular programs and athletics in public schools. But in Statute 15-80-01, it states only homeschool students can be eligible for interscholastic activities. So I'm not trying to split hairs with this example, but only use it to point out that this is an issue that is not cut and dry. There is not a direct answer in the language that the state policy provides to solve this issue for all of us, which means that local school boards, like you, are left with the responsibility, Susan, the responsibility of determining what is best for their district. So, my request to the board tonight is to pause. Take tonight to listen to those who are here to speak on behalf of both sides of the issue. Look at the information collected for you from the school district and then do some of your own research. After all this, see what conclusion you draw. Do not make a decision one way or the other tonight. The weight of your decision will impact our district and families in our community. So I am asking that you take some time to gain wisdom and knowledge. After time is spent doing this, then you can make a collective decision as a board that was not made in haste because your neighbor or your friend or your cousin or your boss or your coworker was pushing you one way or the other. I do not envy the position you are in, but I do know that you take your role on this board seriously and you want to do what is best for our students. So I ask again to do what is right for this issue, and please don't act in haste tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Rubesh.
Well, there's some really great speakers. My name's Art Rubash. I know the three of you guys very well. I consider you guys lifelong friends. Sandy, I went to school with your kids. Susan, our kids go to school. Joe, I've known you and your dad forever. For the two that don't know me, I'm a fourth generation Wickenburger. My parents, both parents graduated here. I graduated here with all my siblings, and I put 5 kids through Wickenburg High School. I've got one more to go. Saying that, we started him at Quite Right at preschool. He went from preschool to second grade there, learned valuable things. The reasons why we didn't send him there because it was class size, number one, and we wanted to get him a little head start, like Susan said. At third grade, we took him to Christian Academy when ESA came out. Before ESA, we paid out of our own pocket. No problem doing that. We wanted the best for our kid, like most of the parents here. Once we got to third grade, they had to test him at Christian Academy. And when they tested him to even let him come in, he was like off the charts. So Quite Right did a great job preparing him for this. That being said, next year he will be going to Vulture Peak because that's my choice. I've talked to all of you guys, like I said, I've got a couple of questions that you guys asked me. One was like, why aren't the kids coming to our school? Well, that's a good question because we have a choice, number one, right? So if a parent chooses to do the education like I did and most of these kids, it's our choice. If we want to send them to public school or not, our choice. My choice is to send them to public school. I got another question. Art, why are you doing this? You don't have no dog in the fight. You don't have a kid in high school. Well, actually, I do. All these kids are my kids. Every kid in school district number 9 is responsible for you guys. I don't care if they don't go to school in public schools or they go to other ones. That's our choice, and that's our job to take care of these kids. There's families here that homeschooled their kids their whole life, never once received money until this came out. Well, this money, ESA money, there's a big fraud going on, like you guys all know. But in my case, we get $7,500 a year. It never comes into Art Rubash checking account. It goes straight to Christian Academy. When they bring an invoice, we send it to them, they pay it. We don't see money. We don't go buy cars. We don't go buy trucks and all this other stuff. Okay. The thing that we're talking about tonight, we're talking about, you guys already passed it where charter schools kids can't participate, which I get that. You know, we want to get our kids back to our school, right? I don't want to lose our high school. I want to use this as a recruiting platform. If you let some kids in, like the other previous one said, they will follow. So we have to build a better environment for them through sports and other academic things. Right now, we're ranked 48 in the nation, right, in school. So we have to do a better job to get our kids to come to school here. And that starts by sports programs, by academics, whatever it has. I do not want to see our school fail. So with that being said, I thank you guys for doing this. I know it's a thankless job. I myself sit on town council. I know what it's like to sit back there and listen to everybody. I'm not used to doing this part, but it's very important. I do have a dog in the fight because it's the future of our kids. And the fact that you already ruled on that one. Now we're talking about a few selected families that truly homeschool their kids. Okay? Very few. And the fact that it's okay to come in if they don't receive the money, but now if they do receive the money, it makes no sense to me. Like the other speaker said, charging. Other schools are charging them. I think is ours 150 for a kid, $100 per kid, whatever it is. Charge them 400, double it, whatever. That's the money that we would never get. We would never get it likewise. So if you let them come, charge them more, get them to experience the high school. You know, these kids have never been on the campus. They might like it. It's a recruiting tool. Give it a try. You know, it's a year-to-year vote. Let's give it a try, and I guarantee it'll work. Once we start winning and start seeing people come around, people will follow. These homeschool charter kids schools, they want to come and play sports that they can't now. They're going to see our football team, our baseball team, our track team, or whatever start doing good, and they're going to want to follow. So people come, you know, if you'll build it, they'll come, right, Sandy?
Field dreams.
So Field of Dreams. So we have to build a Field of Dreams for our kids. We have to make it to where they want to come to school, because I do not want to lose our high school. All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Art. Annalie Reyes.
Hello, I'm Annalie Reyes, and thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for everyone who spoke. I am one of those people that Art Rubash was just talking about. My husband and I, we've been homeschooling for 19 years. Tried and true homeschoolers, and we only started receiving ESA funds as of last year. So this is truly all about the children. God created each child a masterpiece with a built-in love for learning, creativity, and using their gifts. Each child learns differently and should be given the freedom to do so. In 2022, free choice for education was passed in our great state 48. The aim was to fund students, not systems, giving parents direct control over the educational funding. That being said, Arizona parents who receive ESA funds, which is our taxpayer dollars coming back to our families, still pay local, state, and federal taxes, including property taxes, which directly fund public schools. Therefore, public schools are a community resource. They are not just for enrolled students. They are taxpayer-funded community institutions. Denying these families access to publicly funded programs means they are paying for services they can't use. Also, despite what some think, ESA funds do not double dip. The funds are already replacing the per pupil state allocation of the public school would have received, meaning the school is not losing extra money if the child participates only in extracurricular activity. As a side note, I only receive 90% of state funding for my ESA child. You still get 10%, even though my child does not go to your school. So with a reasonable participation fee or cost sharing arrangement, as others have spoken of, the financial impact really is a non-issue. In addition, shared access actually benefits the public school in ways that, others have spoken about. It increases extracurricular participation that can help public schools keep programs alive, especially in smaller districts like this one, who may at times struggle with declining enrollment. Not only does enhanced diversity of skills and perspectives enrich student teams and clubs, but extending access fosters goodwill between homeschoolers, ESA-funded families, and the district, instead of creating division. And it can create positive relationships with families who might return to public schooling in the future, as others have spoken about. So in conclusion, I know that it is legal to prohibit ESA-funded kids right now in the state of Arizona. It is legal, but just because something is legal doesn't always make it right. And until Senate Bill 1564 gets signed into law, mandating this allowed participation, I just pray that you'll all think about it and do the right thing, like Mesa Unified School District did as one example. So thank you for your time.
Carlos Reyes?
Thank you for this opportunity, Board Superintendent. My name is Carlos Reyes. I'm a former Major League pitcher, pitched 13 years, coached 19 with the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees. I'm now a coach with Wickenburg Wranglers. We moved out here 4 years ago, and it's been an awesome relationship. I've taken a lot of pride as our manager, Brandon Eccles. For us, this is baseball's our life. It's my life, 32 years in it. If it wasn't for school, I went to college, had an opportunity. I want to give these kids the opportunity to play. Not all of them are going to reach their goals, but I think as the situation we're in right now with both sides, I think we can work with each other. People ask, numbers are down. Well, same thing with baseball. Same thing in our sports. Look, I've been the president for the Wickenburg Little League for the last 2 years. And I've seen our numbers dwindle, and then I see them spike. Okay, I don't know why. And a lot of the conclusions that I do believe sometimes is travel ball has taken a massive attack in our little leagues and a lot of baseball. Okay, even with high school. At the end, we want to build this back here. Okay, I took an oath as an ex-player is to pour back into the community, into our kids. Okay, and that's what I want to do here. I want to help Brandon, I want to help Tom, all our coaches, and the Wickenburg High School to build these programs back up. But if we're going to be so far apart, we can never do it together. And that's one thing that, give us a chance. Give us a year. Let's impact this. I mean, we just came off a good season. We ended up getting into state. We lost in the first round. We went right into our summer program, American Legion. First time they've ever done American Legion here. We won state. Okay, these kids are getting more baseball now, which they didn't. Before they played for 2 months, and they don't pick it up again till the following year. We're trying to change that. We're trying to do a fall ball. Okay, we're trying to teach these kids the more baseball, the better you get. And at the end of the day, not every kid's going to play in the big leagues. I was blessed and fortunate enough to do that. Okay, but I want to give every kid an opportunity to get to that next level. A lot of these kids here I see all the time, they don't go anywhere. They stay in Wickenburg. You know what? I want you to venture off, learn. College taught me a lot of things. All right, I wasn't the greatest student, but it taught me how to survive, how to socialize with people, and it made me a good man. And it's just, for me, it's like my heart's in the game, and I know how we impacted these kids, and I know a difference we can do in their lives. But we need to come together. I've seen a lot of separation in this town since I've been out here, and all I've been trying to do for my heart is to bring this town together. Because at the end of the day, we're losing focus and perspective. It's our kids. Okay, our kids are the ones that are suffering when the adults put their 2 cents in. But it is, our kids are the ones, and we need to really put them first and give them an opportunity and a chance. That's all I got. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you. All right, Ron, do you have anything you want to bring to the table on this at this point or no?
Well, I'll just say that, you know, I'm on the board here to support the kids of Wickenburg Unified School District. Okay, and so, you know, that's who I'm here to represent, is those kids. Not the rest of the kids in the whole town, the county, or anything else, it's just those kids in this school.
Can't hear you.
The kids in this school, not kids in the city, county, but just, I'm here to represent the kids in this school. Okay?
Sandy, do you have anything at this point?
I'd like to hear a few other things before I
Okay.
say anything.
Karen? Do you have anything you want to ask or?
I don't have anything I necessarily want to ask. I do want to say that as a 38-year veteran, as a classroom teacher and high school principal, this is not new. So I can empathize. In someone's speech up there, they talked about empathizing with, and I think it was you, Colleen, empathizing with others because you can see both sides. You can see what we want in our sports programs and what we also need and want in our classrooms. I think a piece of this does come down to why are we elected to this school board? And I'm the newest one on the board, so, but are we here to represent the schools in our school district or all other organizations in the town? And that, I have to go back to the orientation I had, the meeting I even had with down in Phoenix when I was first appointed to the board, that I had an oath to support the students and the families in our Wickenburg Unified School District. And so that's where I have to stand as right now as far as the board. Having said that, I do empathize and I do understand. I think the best thing that I have to offer to this is, and I did throughout my entire career, is providing avenues for it to happen. And we have avenues for students to play in our sports. We have our virtual program. We have the homeschool students that have our, I forget the word, credentialed or the affidavit has been created for homeschool students then to participate. So I feel like our avenues are there. I shouldn't say I feel, I know they're there.
Karen,
But
can
in
I
the
comment on that in just a second? Traditional homeschool really doesn't exist anymore. Once the ESA program started, we were, you have a choice, right? You continue to remain homeschool and keep your affidavit, or you get empowerment scholarship account money. There's no, they're still homeschool students. They just receive ESA money. If they didn't get that money, it wouldn't go to the public schools. They just wouldn't get help with supporting education for their homeschool kids. So that's where I think there's a misconception here that there are homeschool students out there that still have an affidavit. There might be, but I think the percentage in this area, in this community, is going to be very low to null. And I understand your point of view completely, but I just wanted to make sure you understood that might still exist, but in comparison to the alternative, it's very low, if any, in this community.
And I don't have that data. So
I'd like to find out, and I should have asked the different speakers. Do you have kids that are playing on our teams right now? Anybody have kids that are playing on our teams that are not part of the Wickenburg Unified School District? We have one.
We're homeschoolers. We're homeschoolers.
Right.
We're homeschoolers.
Right. And so you guys do. Over
It's
here.
not just baseball. There's a bunch of.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Not just baseball, but I mean.
No, there's a few in each sport.
And some of them, if the kids weren't on the team, you wouldn't have the team. There were many baseball games, and I get it. Your priority are the kids here, right? But we do care about the community, hopefully. But your priority is the kids here. But you don't understand how this affects the students in your schools. There were many games that we didn't have enough players that were eligible or even on the team. We had to forfeit the game. So you take away the small number of kids you guys actually have in your sports programs is dismal. You take away the few students that are being added, you won't have a baseball team. So what will happen is your school, like he was trying to say, he's trying to save the school. Your school will continue to get smaller because you don't have a baseball team. You're going to lose more students. They're not going to keep their kids there. Sorry. If I sounded rude, I'm not.
With that said, really quick, I know you guys got the rest of your day. But it's about development. When you take a ball player, let's say a good ball player, let's say he's a homeschooler, like our kids, okay? We learn a lot quicker base in the sense when it comes to sports. They got me to teach them, okay? You start playing them with other kids, you speed up their development, okay? You're impacting that. Okay, not just, because we're homeschoolers, but when we start to play together, I wish you guys would have been there this summer. Okay, anybody that was there can justify that. Okay, we finally took 2 schools and we merged a couple of players and we impacted a program. We beat, what do you call it? 5 days, 6 schools. We're a 2-way school. Okay, when we play together, we won. And then we developed. We moved at a very fast pace. And that's school. Look, if you bring a winning program, I'll tell you right now, you'll have kids coming. You'll have kids getting enrolled because they want to play that sport. We put it together. But if we keep on bickering and going back and forth, our kids are going to suffer. And at the end of the day, we can't have it.
And the public school kids suffer.
Right. Public schools, it doesn't matter. We're all in this together. It's not just sports. We need to all interact together and play as one team, not be divided. And I do get your point on, yes, I get that. But that was 30 years ago, where everybody only had one school here. Now, there's choices. Look, COVID messed it up everything. They put us in our homes, okay? They locked us up. They pushed kids out of schools, like sports, baseball. They shut down baseball. Little League couldn't play. All these parks were shut down. Well, guess what was going on? Travel ball. Travel ball kept on pushing it, and that's where a lot of kids just kept on doing that. And that went on for several years. So that's all I can say.
All right, well, thanks for all that information.
And Riley, as a homeschooler, did participate in the High School Musical when she was a homeschooler. And now she's at the high school and she's doing WVA as well. And like I said, that's part of our plan for Terrence. I think that's a plan for a lot of homeschool families. Some homeschool families continue to do it in high school. Others want them to have that in-person experience in high school. My choice was not to send my son to Vulture Peak because of his learning style and abilities. And he would likely get in a lot of trouble at Vulture Peak. And I'm choosing, a different path for that. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't participate in sports. He's in football now, and he plans to play football all through high school. He plays baseball. He wants to play basketball. Like we don't have a younger age basketball program that plays against anyone else, right? We have the program that has been run at the high school for the last few years, but he wants to basketball too. But he's a very smart kid, and there's no gifted programming at Vulture Peak. And so he doesn't have that capability academically at Vulture Peak. So I can't send him there and still consider myself making the best choice for him at this time. So
Well, seeing where I stand on all this too is I've heard everybody empathize, sympathize, and agree with a lot of what I heard. I really do. I empathize with what Ron said. The 5 of us were elected to the school district board, okay? And it doesn't mean we got to be bad guys. As a matter of fact, I feel bad for the 5 of us that we're no when we do take a vote. Because we we all have choices. Okay, I'm gonna go real quick to my choice. I have two daughters. They're both graduated and out of school. My oldest daughter, well, that's a different story. Okay, she graduated from an online school. But that was a different. That was a horror story. Nothing to do with this district. She was out of this district because our personal lives changed. Okay, so my youngest daughter came back and lived with me, and she went to came into Hacienda, then she went all the way through. In high school, she hurt herself and she had surgery, couldn't be on campus, not comfortably and in a manner that's going to be good for her. So switched over to WVA. And my kids weren't sports people, so that's not where I'm getting at with this. It's just we all have choices, okay? We all have choices. And my choice was to keep them or keep her in there because it was doing really good for her. I have my own business, so she has room in my office. She did her school from my office. And then I hired a tutor to come to my office to tutor my daughter after school hours. And that was my choice. It helped her. She needed that. And again, she graduated 3 years ago. So, but anyway, that's just personal information that I wanted to share, that the choices are there for everybody. We all have choices. Homeschooling, WVA. I mean, our public education in Wickenburg, I'm not certain why people aren't going to it. I mean, I heard some different situations, and we all heard together. And I get all this. I'm not angry or upset or jealous or whatever. I sympathize with all parents making decisions. Our kids are the ones that are sitting out there wondering, why can't I play ball? Well, we decided to send you to the school and they don't have a program. So now they have to rely on our public school system. Not a bad thing. And hopefully it all comes true that what
Carlos Reyes.
Carlos.
yeah, Carlos said about they'll come. I had a conversation with a parent that I've known for a long time. They will come. I want to see that happen. I want to see that happen. So I'm not against all of this. I'm against the awareness position. Okay, I told you that. But I'm not against the situation of trying it because this is an annual renewal thing. We can try it. We don't have to try it. We can try it and see if it works. If it works for us, I think we're golden. But that's where we're at right now. So I do want to hear, I don't know if Sandy wants to speak yet. I mean, everybody else has spoken. So I'd really like to get your 2 cents.
Okay, for 2 cents, I was elected to the Wickenburg School Board. I obviously am for the public schools. My kids all went to school. My daughter and daughter-in-law were teachers at the public school. And I think what has bothered me with some of these things that were said is that this is political. A school board is not political. They're not elected by Democrat, Republican, whatever. It's not a political thing. And I didn't like that part of it, that it was political, because it isn't. I think we're just trying to do what's best for our kids in our school. And, I keep hearing that if we allow this, we're going to have these teams and we're going to have this. But realistically, we're talking maybe a few kids. How many kids are we talking? Art told me 10. Could be 10. Yeah. 7.
One kid, people do follow. But one kid can impact that next level and bring attention to a lot of kids. All it takes is one major. You don't know what you have until you try. And honestly, it can impact. And I mean, I know baseball, I know the sports.
Yes.
Okay, and that does create impact. That creates momentum. And all I'm asking is give give us one chance, just 1 year, and we come at this again. Give us some opportunity, because I know we're gonna win next year.
I also believe when you chose homeschooling or Quite Right or wherever you went, your choice, I'm all for choice. But you knew at that time that you weren't allowed to participate.
That's not true.
in our school.
That's not true. I'm the head coach at Vulture Peak as a homeschooler and the head coach now at the Wickenburg High School. And when I took over, it was a crap show. And we've turned it around.
But homeschool
Positive.
kids,
And I
but
was
yeah.
a homeschooler, so don't
Yeah.
say I just started.
Home-
And my boy
no,
started.
no.
We started in homeschool when he
yeah.
was 6 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
Everyone.
Homeschool kids were allowed. There's
As
never
long as you
been.
had a state certificate and were not receiving.
No,
We had to fill out affidavits that we're homeschoolers.
Yeah.
And you guys accepted them.
Exactly.
And that hasn't changed.
It's still
There's the
Well,
thing that
except that
changed is
ESA
the
funding
ESA
came into
funding became available, right?
And that was always allowed.
That's why a lot of people might address, like I did, the funding, or I didn't use the word political, but it's unfortunate that a lot of times it does come down to a money issue, because yes, like I said, we've been homeschoolers for 19 years. Just last year, started receiving ESA funds. So I had that homeschool affidavit for my 3 sons, knowing all along, it was Arizona state law, we were protected, that our kids would be able to join, and not just baseball, any other, public sports, and we were so grateful for that. So now that it just comes down to, and that should not be like that at all, and that's why I addressed the funding aspect of it. So, like, I was just wondering, if you're allowed 3 homeschool affidavit kids on your team, but you don't want ESA student kids on your team.
Okay, I don't like that phrasing, we don't want. This, right now, this is the way it goes. I mean, it says in ESA funding that ESA will not participate in.
It doesn't say that.
We just looked it up.
It's Senate Bill 1564, it's passed by the House and the Senate in Arizona, but it sat on the governor's desk for quite a few months, and I don't know if the bill is dead or not. It was not yet passed into law, but there are enough people behind it that definitely want this bill to pass. That would, it would not just cover homeschool activated students being allowed to do extracurricular activities in the public schools, but it would also fund students as well.
May I ask a question, Mr. President?
Yes.
So I sat on the Wickenburg Chamber Education Board for 20 years and fully supported the school district. I have 1 child graduated, 1 going through it now in the high school. Watched and participated in 25 years of watching town council meetings. And I feel what I'm seeing here is a lot of confusion. I don't feel like your board members all have the same understanding and facts about the program. I don't take ESA, I don't know it either, I don't understand it. So obviously I wouldn't tell you what to do either way, besides how I know my child feels is that he doesn't want to lose all these great friends that are participating in all their events and clubs and sports there. But I don't understand why we don't have someone from State Board of Education in the ESA office giving a presentation maybe about what is the facts about ESA money, what is the pros, what are the cons, what does it really
Right,
mean?
what's the current
Is it a
law
personal opinion that you're
versus-
voting on, or
Right.
what's actually the facts? That's what I don't understand.
Right.
I think you're about ready to do it, but as I said, this isn't necessarily new. It's just different because of ESA funds. I know that we had this same discussion in a former district that I worked in before ESA. I've been out of that for 6 years, and we ended up with a different kind of a policy, and that may be a way that we move, depending on study sessions or whatever, where as long as and this is what we did, so this is not Wickenburg, but we said that a homeschool student needed to take 1 course at the school. And so they were enrolled in 1 course at the school, and the parents,
yeah, I'm sorry, we can't do that legally in the
okay,
state of Arizona.
I just was speaking and just saying that, and so I'm saying there may be some common ground here that we're not yet seeing.
No, my take on the whole thing too is, I've heard it a couple of different times, And I really appreciate Tanya saying that because we do have obvious confusion. Obvious. Nobody here is experts of it. Nobody.
So now